What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with the fastest zoom speed settings you've ever seen on the arrow keys in your life, in the right-hand corner of the map, in the blue color, playing as Odin. He goes by the name Slingy McSlingface, but you will better know him as Zookt, the Gaia expert, changing things up today, playing some Odin. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Fuji. He is everyone's favorite house cat. He is Nyan Racing Cat. And yes, we've got ourselves a one forest oasis. And let me tell you right now, guys, we're in for it. One whole oasis. This game is going to be a mammoth game. So, get yourself a tasty beverage. Get yourself a hot snack. Some popcorn. What are they called? The ice cream with the choc top. Do you guys have choc tops? Get yourself a choc top. If you don't know what a choc top is, then I'm upset for you, as you haven't lived yet. And finally, any other sort of shenanigans you feel like doing while this game is going on is all good by me, because this is going to be a fun one. Let's take a quick look at the relics. On the right hand corner, we've got Tower of Cestus. This is +1 bonus damage for the myth units. Up to the top here, we've got Hestia's Hearth, which is villager train time -5%. Over here on the left hand corner, we've got the Chariot of Sibel. This is 2 gold lions that respawn for free every 60 seconds. Always nice there as well. On the bottom of the map, we've also got Shenong's Okra Whip. This one's going to be boosting up the farm income, especially once you get to flood control. So every upgrade, it's 5% more. There is another relic similar to this, which gives you just a flat 10% boost on farming. But realistically, this relic here is just better. Because most of the time, when you start farming, you're going to be around plow and going... Excuse me. You're going to be around plow going into irrigation anyway, so you're going to be starting at about 10% with that relic when you start farming in most cases. So realistically, you're just going to be getting that 15% when you get to the heroic age for flood control, right? And all the other good stuff. I'm reading some sad news from Nimo Noom, and I'm glad you arrived in Paris safely. That's what matters. I hope whatever happened to your bags gets sorted out, because that sounds terrible. But train delays are a thing of a very, very common occurrence in Europe, from what I've heard. What do you guys know about that? I don't know. Anyways, we got some Freya versus Chi-Yo action now. Chi-Yo has since been, I don't want to call it nerfed. Like, some people like to say, oh, numbers went down, it's nerfed. But realistically, these weren't numbers just going down. These were reworks. Lightning weapons goes down by 5 seconds for the time that you can use it for. Instead of 20 seconds, it's 15 seconds. However, it now also applies to heroes. Yatsa no longer gets bonus damage onto his jump attack. Instead, gets flat bonus damage. So it's more of a rework than a nerf. You could say that it's a tiny nerf if you like, but this is still a very, very nice way to play. And Odin is going to have some little bits of difficulties here to open up this game. So I'm excited to see how Zookt is going to be able to try and deal with this. Now, he does go through Freya, which does mean he could rush out very, very quick Sesrumna for Godi, which could be a nice help, as the red dots are making their way across the map. We've got those double gold lions. We've got the couple of heroes in here as well, as the Valkyrie high fives that pioneer before retreating back. Meanwhile, relic does get picked up, grabs the Tower of Cestus. This one's really, really helpful actually against the Yatsa there. As into the base these units go, and already the pressure going to be mounting onto Zookt here in this game. Is he going to lose a villager on this side into the tower? Everything idle, so huge damage coming through in the start of this game, as the villagers pop out, moving over onto the wood line, popping up over onto the chickens there as well. as the Yatsa dash in over onto this side. We do have Neja over here as well, causing some problems. Already the perfect wall for Zook to kick this game off with. I talk about this wall all the time on Oasis. So good as these Yatsa continue to dash in. Not yet able to pick up a villager kill. He does have himself, I believe... No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the upgrade just yet for Son of Lung. So he's missing out a little bit on that extra damage on those auto attacks. It is 25% bonus damage, so not nothing. That's a considerable amount, to be honest, as the villagers pushed off of the wood line yet again. Turns around with the Hearses, however, as a little bit of miscontrol here from Nyan will be meaning that his Yatsa do end up going down. At least one of them goes down. Over onto this side, a dwarf gets sniped. However, the Nijar decides against going after the Berserk for the time being, as now he's to retreat back. And I'm not exactly sure where that... Oh, the Valkyrie is now coming in for Zook, as he's ready now to put some revenge pressure in onto Nyan. It's 23 villages to 19. The Valkyrie hitting this sentry tower. Not exactly what he wants to have happen here. Now moving over onto the villages, going after this one as Nyan, not paying attention just yet, loses a villager. The villager's coming over saying, let me shank for the time being, but against their better judgment there, they're going to be getting into the towers, keeping themselves alive. Over onto this side, a little bit of return fire on the Hersers. Those are going to be retreating back. So after all is said and done, dust settles. Both players take some damage here in this opening. The Valkyrie's still alive. We'll be turning back into this. Nope, I spoke too soon. The caster's curse hits. I'm sorry, Zooked. Your Valkyrie's dead. As the longhouse now up. And the next part here for Zook is going to be, can he hold this hunt? Right now, we are seeing Nyan saying, got to be a little bit more careful here. So damage has been done, but how much damage has been done? Right now, it's 1.2k to 940 in terms of military resource value. However, a bunch of units making their way over into this position here. Needs to get those in to actually make anything significant happen. I love this wall coming up over here as well. Lots of favor in the bank for potential extra Qualfu or a whole bunch of Yatsa. There's another Valkyrie now going to be coming in for Zooked. And yeah, the calm before the storm here. I think maybe, just maybe, he does know that there's Giraffe over here, but Nyan not use. This is a really, really great way to play China, by the way. If you're not doing this basically on cooldown, you're kind of missing out on a lot of information. But these guys here have got these sky lanterns. Send those through into the main base. Some over here. Every little bit of information you get is something you can use to gain an advantage here. But I think what Nyan is thinking here is he doesn't really have an advantage anymore in terms of the units he's got. He's going to have to wait for some upgrades to come through. He doesn't have Master of Weaponry in for these halberdiers. He doesn't have many halberdiers either. And, I mean, doesn't have that many fire archers, only 5. Whereas on the other side here, there's a hefty amount of berserks, a couple of thrown axemen. It's a pretty scary army. Zook's got to be careful here as he's going to be charging in to this ball of doom for these infantry units here. As he will he lose this one? Nishar get in there? Does get that final hit, and will he live with the HP? No. He's down. Alright, houses coming up as well. And we'll see if Nyan is going to be able to push off of this position. I think right now his army is looking incredibly strong. Worst case here for our main man, Slingy McSlingface, is he can just pull off of this hunt and just wander back into his main base, get onto berries, get onto goats. It's not a big problem. But putting some walls down, finishing this wall off, and keeping this protected, very, very important. Up onto this side as well, if, for example, Zook can try and sneak around here and get in onto this hunt, that would be a beautiful raid. Over onto this left-hand corner as well, getting in here, potentially trying to get onto this gold mine, onto this wood line. There's also forest fire available. We are seeing the Yatsa for the time being sniping all of the baboons on the map. Now, he doesn't have the lifesteal technology, but this isn't about that. This is about denying potential favor for the Norse. There's a couple of Yachts over onto this side, charging in yet again, and now finally Nyan says, "All right, I see no units in here. Let me get going." But Berserk's in the main base here. A couple of peasants need to sit idle for a little bit, as this is going to be very scary for Zook. He does decide to pull. This is exactly what he needs to do, but he's sacking a huge amount of thrown axemen to buy himself the time to get out of here. In fact, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for Nyan to try and swing around here, take some damage onto the watchtower to get onto the villages on the retreat path, but that's not going to be happening there. He gets some damage done. He's opening up this position onto this gold mine. We've already got Zooked over onto this left gold mine anyways. Nice and safe. Very, very smart play there as the Berserks to charge forward. Sniping a Fire Archer for a Berserk. Completely fine to be going for this one here, but he's going to have to pull back out as the arts and numbers are starting to creep up here. We still have not seen Son of Lung coming through yet, which is surprising to me. Like, I mean, let's take a quick pause here. We're not going to take many of these, but take a look at the damage. It's not just damage. It's also 15% hit points. It's a very, very good tech. And you got how many? I don't know. Maybe we'll be seeing him grabbing it soon, or maybe he already thinks he's grabbed it. I don't know. Anyways, the Berserks on this side will end up falling. And Nyan here has to make his way effectively through this wall to get onto this gold mine. But this is looking very, very dangerous for Zookt at the moment. He charges forward, takes a bunch of damage on the retreat here. The towers will be helping out against these Yachts. Yes, they've got 60% pierce armor, but this is also doing that extra 2x versus Nith units, which is very, very nice there. And we'll see if Zookt can get through this position or not. He's got 500 gold in the bank. He will have to move off of this gold mine. He's moving down to the bottom side of the map now. The gold is mined, so Nyan has to know that there's been villagers over here. Now, he might assume that, well, the dwarves had just moved back into the main base. But what he can do, without even needing to move there, is just do this. What does he see on the map? He sees the gold mine. So you can just throw one this way, throw one that way, throw a couple into the main base to see if you can see them in there. Otherwise, he might be over here. He might be over here. But Zookt gets away with it. He's grabbing gold. And he's going to be able to pull himself through this very, very difficult amount of pressure with some sneaky gold mine grabbing. A couple of houses coming up into the main base as well, grabbing that copper armor and all the other good stuff. There's a couple of villagers going to be going down onto this side as well. Trying to break through the wooden walls for the time being here. And Nyan is probably thinking this has been a little bit of a loop-de-loop to some degree. Charging in here. Those Fire Archers can kill off that front line so easily, but, well, not even the front line, just the infantry. Can't really kill off the raiding cavalry that easily. But the hardest thing to control here is now we see Forest Fire and lightning weapons getting dropped down. The hardest thing to control here is making sure that you're throwing, that the halberdiers aren't getting into range of the thrown axemen. But after all is said and done, the army here does look like it's going to be going down. And Nyan potentially thrown a little bit too many units away here beforehand. Not able to take that win there. He's also still building those Yachts, taking a big fight before getting himself that second tier of upgrade. Is a big, big problem for him. He didn't get that lifesteal in that he might have wanted. But nonetheless, still a very sizable army actually here for Nyan. So I think he might have just had half of his units not in the fight there, which does sometimes end up happening. You've got to be so careful with those raiding cavalry, though. You get touched. It's the touch of death. These halberdiers, look at them. They've got that fire just burning off them. This is the touch of death. If you get hit by these bad boys, you do die. You cannot get out of there. Thanks so much for the prime there. Hyun24, appreciate you, my friend, for the support. 7 months. Thanks, my friend. As the Medium Cav, Thundering Hooves, Shieldman Valkyrie coming through. A couple more Yatsa in queue here for Nyan. As I'm sure he says, all right, let's just go next stage. That's probably what he wants here. If he can get to the next stage, he's going to be in a good spot. Let's see if that's the way that he's going to go. He's got some nice walls up. I like the way that he's walled. However, no, it's actually completely fine here. This is a nice way to play with China. There's two ways to sort of play. One is to make your initial buildings like not really spread that favor so much. And the other one is to just commit to a really big wall and basically make a Great Wall of China, which is probably what the devs intended, but you know, it is what it is. As the raiding cavalry coming up to the top side, going to try and break through this this wall here. And you will note here that the tower, I can't show you the range. The tower will not be able to protect these walls here. It's a little bit too far away, and that wall there will end up going down here. As the Yards are still searching around for a little bit of damage. You can just retreat away here. Not using that special though. Loses one. As Zook did actually manage to eat the rest of those giraffes, so well done to him. Both players still kind of hanging out in this classical age. A huge amount of gold in the bank right now, however, for Zook, as he's got a second talent center as well. Totally missed that. He could buy his way to the heroic age right now if he wanted to. Just buy 600 food and go heroic age could be a great way to move forward here. On the other side, that Peach Blossom Spring is still there. It's got 2,000 food in it, and that's any resource. He can get whatever he wants. So he can grab that whenever he wants. But for me, the sooner the better on that one. If I'm being somewhat aggressive here, you know, get to the heroic age nice and quick. Find yourself an advantage there. No problems. Nonetheless, temple coming up for Mr. Sling McSlingface as he's no longer got one. Still taking his time to get to that heroic age. As the raiding cavalry charge through, those halberdiers are in. And you just got to respect him. You just got to respect him. And sort of the best way through this is to get to Huskal if you can. Or I guess if you can get enough of those throwing axemen out in a good position and do a little bit of baiting of the halberdiers. Because, you know, you've got 13 range medium fire archers. You've got 12 range throwing axemen. With some good micro, you should be able to bait out a couple of kills here and there. As the dwarves coming in onto this spot. Shanking away. One halberdier going down. Two halberdiers going down. Will there be a dead villager? Will he lose one? They're all low HP. He doesn't lose a single one. Nyan. There's the gold man coming in, however. As Zook moves forward, he's just saying, I'm hanging out in this classical age for as long as I can here. Let me just enjoy it. I'm just going to enjoy it. There's already heavy archers in. One of those bonuses for Fuxi is that any upgrades research incredibly quickly, so long as those buildings are on favored land. But they do research really, really quickly. So he's already got himself heavy infantry, heavy archers. You can get those armory upgrades in ridiculously quickly as well if he so chooses. Pushing forward, he's almost got enough for another lightning weapons, this time with 175 pop. It's going to be very, very scary for Zook but he is going up through Skadi, so if he can get there nice and quick, he will have Frost for it, which might not seem like a great trade, but he's already got a third town center, so just playing a defensive game for a little bit here will net him somewhat of an advantage. As Nyan says, all right, let me take out the armory. At least get some value here. That's 135 wood gone. Move forward, take out the temple and all the other good stuff. See some more buildings coming down on the back. If we take a little bit of a stock take as these Yarts are coming in to pick off a whole bunch of villages. A little bit of a stock take on the military buildings. There's a hefty amount in at the moment for Sling McSlingface, for Zook. On the other side, Nyan doesn't really have that many. But I think he might have, yeah, he's got the attachment on these as well, right? So that's going to make them train much, much quicker. So he's got a lot more than it looks like he has. or effective train time. Anyways, the yachts are coming in. These have life steal now? No, they still don't have the life steal, but doesn't matter. Going after that Oxguard, going to be taking that one down. The one Halberdier going to be falling here as well. And Zook now repairing up onto this side, still putting some more pressure in. Still no second town center up for Nyan just yet. No, there it is. He's grabbing it straight away as I say that. Zook is desperately trying to get in onto this position, but how do you get past these Halberdier? I mean, he's got the throw and axeman, but those fire archers are going to clean everything else up. You got to play it so well. As the Norse here, he gets his upgrades in. Heavy throw and axeman is in. Will this be enough? Is the big question. Drops the frost onto all of the Halberdier basically here, and then the raiding cavalry now can come in and slap down those fire archers. Beautiful play there from Mr. Slingy McSlingface the Great. Onto the back here, going to be dropping a hill fort to try and secure this gold mine. There's still raids hitting onto this gold over here, as it doesn't really matter for the moment, as Zook has got a huge amount of gold in the bank. So too does Nyan have a huge amount of gold in the bank. However, once this hill fort is up, which he pulls off that one a little bit there. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but he just says, all right, no worries, we don't need it. I've got the throwing axe anyways, and all those fire archers are basically dead here. Lightning weapons to get dropped down for the time being, as the throwing axeman on top of the halberdiers. On the top here, however, those raiding cavalry will go in very, very quickly. There's all the halbs getting clean up. Both players' population dropping pretty quickly in this moment, as now the hill fort ready to go back up. He says, all right, it's time to grab it, finish it up. Shuko Nu also coming through for Nyan, which is you don't really see. I think a lot of players have sort of said, what's the point? Take a little quick comparison. You got your 16 range heavy Shuko Nu versus the 14 range heavy fire archer. So there is that big advantage. 2 extra range in the heroic age. Isn't a small amount. It's quite a nice little bit of a boost there. We'll see how much of this is going to help or hinder Mr. Nyan Racing Cat moving forward in this game. As Zook says, I'm ready for some more fighting. Get back over here. Still hasn't got himself the heavy cav, as that's coming through now as well. Shaft mine coming through. See the hooves of whatchamajigga. I can't remember what it's called. Hooves coming through, as Nyan's going to be wanting to grab himself a couple of cavalry units here. But Zook charges straight into this ball of units, and you look at this ball go, there's not that many units there. Well, that's 18 Shuko Nu. And if you guys don't know what Shuko Nu are, imagine they are chariot archers, except they do an insane amount of damage. So they have the size of a human unit, but they have the damage output plus more of a chariot archer. So yeah, 21 heavy Shuko Nu. You don't want to go close to that unless you got a very, very good, healthy amount of Huskal or raiding cavalry. As Zook's continuing to try and push this one forward. But he's realistically got his third town center. We do also see that Nyan's also got his own third town center. So the game is actually quite equal at this moment. I attempted a hill fort onto this side to try and grab one more gold mine. If we see 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and probably a fourth one was there. Yeah, one, yeah, here, right? 4. So both players have got their 4 gold mines sort of secured. So no advantages in terms of one extra gold mine over another. This hill fort will not be finishing, as the Dow swordsman comes over and says, excuse you, You dare invade my lands, I will slash you down with my sword. Get out of here. And Zugt obliges. He says, let me get out of here. As the infantry unit's going to be pulling back, I've got those siege crossbows in to say, I can push you now. Which is very, very difficult for the North. This is one of those, always is one of those difficult positions is you don't really want your hill forts when you're playing against anyone to die, but particularly against China. Losing hill forts hurts so much more because you need them for production. You need them for Huskarl. As the raiding cavalry do manage to come in, Nyan leaves his baluster open for the pickings. And the raiding cavalry sneak on through here. Another forest protection from Nyan. But at this point, why not? Look at his favor spread. It's spread everywhere. He's going all over the place. The only thing is that this one ballet needs to be connected up, and then he'll get even more favor income. I think good change for China was that they used to get a ton of favor early on, but they didn't really they did get rewarded, but they didn't get rewarded enough, in my opinion, for how well they spread it out their favored land. Now I feel like it's a little bit closer. I don't know, you can probably push it even more. Even less favor early, even more favor later, but nonetheless, at the moment, Zugt not really going to be able to make a push forward just yet. He's a little bit behind on military. Take a look at the army upgrades. He's got some decent ones. He's got one better than Nyan at the moment, but it's not really going to be enough to make a difference unless you're at equal population. So Yatsa does end up getting sniped down there. Is the tree eaten yet? The tree's still... Who goes farms before tree? Is it just me? He's got 3,348 food here. Just pull the villagers off farms and eat it. That's so many resources. What are you saving it? What do you save it for, though? Maybe he waits until he's got, like, 4,000 and then grabs it, because that'll be enough resources to get him straight to the Mythic Age. He's saving it for the next game. True. He's taking a page out of my book. Nonetheless, Chukonu sniping. Cheeky little dwarf there as these villagers have to make their way to somewhere a little bit more safe onto the left side of the map. The raids coming through as villagers slowly but surely going to start getting sniped down. One other thing to keep in the back of your mind is if you place your Peach Blossom Spring onto the edge of the world, you're actually not getting favor. So you want to generally place it somewhere where you're going to see the whole circle, because that's where you get the most value out of it. Maybe Nyan doesn't know that. But yeah, that's the best place. Obviously, if you don't eat it ever, you're getting the favor generation for the entirety of the game, so that is kind of a big thing. But nonetheless, still struggling to make ground on this right-hand corner, but the war rages on. A little bit of calm on the left-hand side here as buildings starting to get shot up. Markets coming through. A desperate need to start a trade route coming through, as well as the gold expiring all over the place. Dwarves getting pulled up here as well. I'm not sure exactly where the units went, as a cheeky little portable ram to come through to try and push through. A couple of villages going down isn't going to be the end of the world. Right now, it's really all about getting this trade in. I guess one other thing here one other usage of this Peach Blossom Spring that I think I've never really considered is instead of even going for the trade caravans like Nyan is, you use it at the very end when all your gold is gone. And that will give you that extra push over your opponent who doesn't have that. Kind of like a Thor does when they drop that Mythic Age Dwarven Mire. Meanwhile, Raiding Cavalry managing to get onto that backline is going to be quite nice. He's got a huge amount of those heavy Huskarl as well, as Naya needs some sort of an answer here for these Huskarl moving forward. There's a couple of villagers ending up going down over here. But Nyan's still doing completely fine. He is hitting some raids onto this spot. The Huskarl coming in, taking a look at how these Huskarl actually do against the heavy Chukonu. They're actually looking like the Chukonu are doing pretty well. Not going to lie, I'm a little surprised there. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 Huskarl versus 6 or 7 Chukonu, but still I'm surprised. But nonetheless, the unit's charging forward. Nyan's... Wait, has he got 2 forest protections here, or is it just my imagination? It's my imagination. He should just kill off the military camp to get rid of that forest protection to allow him to continue pushing through here. But Nyan, he should be more than happy to fight here. These sorts of trades just give you slight advantages that you can start building on to get to the next age, to get some more bigger advantages, to convert those small advantages into big advantages. There's a couple long houses on the left-hand corner. Got those hill forts coming up as well. We see any sort of a ram push through this side at any point, trying to secure or cut off the markets or things like that. That could be a way to go. There's the hill fort. Now not protected. It is looking to me like, I don't know if it's just that Nyan's economy is just better at the moment than Zook's, or if Nyan's army is trading so much better than Zook's is here, but Zook's economy is so much better than Nyan's that he's able to just continue. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. But nonetheless, the trade caravans started up. Let's see where they're at. We got 16 over here for Zooked on the top side. There's 16 as well, so very, very close. As dead even as it possibly can be at this moment as a hill fort to come down. There's little bits of it. Oh, little dodges coming through from Zooked. I love that. Just kind of pulling away. If you run back away from the... I think if you run away from the Chukonu, I could be wrong on this, but I think if you run away from a ballistics Chukonu, it starts to miss its shots. Maybe. Why are these caravans... Oh, no. Let's not talk about it. Let's not bring it up, okay, guys? Zook will notice it. Did he delete a marker? No, it's over here. And Zook does manage to catch out Nyan here. He actually cleans up a lot of this army, but Nyan is now going to the Mythic Age. He's through Huang Di here. So we'll get access to that Super Dragon. He will get access to some super units as well. One thing here that our main man Zook is missing is Njord. And that's one of those units or one of those combos that Odin's got, which I think is quite strong at the moment. I think it's super underrated, if not underrated by some people. Well, some people are very well aware of this, but let me bring it up. The Odin pathway of going Freya, Njord, Balder for Super Jarls is incredibly potent. That being said, you do still have access to Halberdiers, so you can deal with it, but they are very, very powerful. As the Rams are now breaking into this top position, lots and lots of buildings getting shot up. We are seeing, what's this? tax collectors. Interesting. Zooked. I mean, why would you ever look there? You just expect your trade route to be behaving, right? Nonetheless, the Huskar coming in, sniping villagers down onto this side. Nyan is looking like he's getting somewhat overwhelmed here. He's down to 135 population. The problem for Zooked is he's got no answer for this dragon. There's not a single... Where is it flying in? Over onto this side. There's not a single goatee out at the moment. There's two goatees, excuse me. There's two goatees out, but they're both sitting AFK on the other side of the map. So we'll see what Zooked can do as a response here. But on top of this, you're also going to be seeing... Look, there's 200 favor in the bank right now as well for Nyan, so he can spam out lightning weapons, or he can get himself a whole bunch of Hundun, whatever he really wants. He can go for a whole bunch more Yahtzee at this point. Everyone kind of forgets that those classical age myth units are still pretty powerful in the mythic age. Or at least that's what they're supposed to be. As villagers going down left, right, and center here as the raid's just all over Nyan. He is definitely struggling here. However, he will come through. He's going to be finding the wood villagers. And all of a sudden, both players are going to start seeing some very, very painful villager losses, as we will have Tia as the god of choice here. For Zooked, there's, I mean, even more economic damage. Plus, on top of the mechanical ox cards, on the top of the trade is where things become pretty brutal in the late game, because it's very, very hard to stop or to get your trade route, get your trade route to safety. As Nejar coming through, getting some big damage done. The heavy target cavalry getting some damage as well onto the backside there. Does he still not use this tree? 4,000. Okay, bets in chat. What will this tree get to? If I miss it, if he somehow decides to actually gather it before the end of the game, I will go back to the recorded game and find it out. What do you guys reckon this is going to get to? It's at 4,552 at the moment. Put your bets. Put your bets in chat. Put your bets in the YouTube comments. Alrighty. Yinglong swinging over here. Going to look for maybe some Ox Caravan kills and all the other good stuff. Meanwhile, we do have... I got to actually say his actual name. I keep calling him John Wick. He is John Wick, but... Yang Jian. Yang Jian is out. And also the heavy target cavalry. So these target cavalry aren't the same menace that you can sometimes see, but they are still a menace. Huang Di plus Golmang target cavalry, or Golmang plus Gong Gong target cavalry. They're both a menace. They're both very, very strong. As the trade route now taking some big, big damage. The goatee's coming through here. There's the Mythic Age, and now all of a sudden, a bit of return fire as we've got the Fimbulwinter Wolves going after this trade route right on top of it here. Over onto this side as well, going after these ones there too. So some big, big return fire, economic damage coming onto Mr. Nyan Racing Cat as Sling and McSlingface Zooked pushes back for the time being. The Yinglong moving back up onto this spot. And on the forward march, Zooked goes. He still needs some upgrades to come through. Grabbing more of the more important upgrades, like getting his units out quicker, grabbing Bravery, grabbing Berserker Gang, but he is missing Champion Infantry for the time being. Over onto the right side, Hundun going down, more buildings coming up, still allowing that military camp to sit there as these units going to attempt to break through the ballet. probably not going to be able to do so. I mean, once Bravery comes in, this guy might get some serious damage on. I don't know. Meanwhile, over here, the Yinglong is eating a face full of goatee javelins there. That's not what Nyan wanted to see happen. That Yinglong can literally live an entire game versus with some insane control, but that goes down, and now will we see the hill fort finishing? I'm not sure he will. These units seem to be falling on the front, plus the hill fort going down any which way. So hill fort denied, units getting pushed back, and any attempt to push on the left or right side does seem to be falling on deaf ears here, as Nyan fending off everything beautifully for the time being. He does it. He unironically, wait, let's see. He's still got the tree. He unironically can get himself another Yinglong. I wonder who has received more favor in this game. Because it's been a pretty brutal game, a gruesome game. Lots and lots of fighting. We do have the Fenris Wolf Brutes coming in. It's been a while since I've seen these bad boys, but look at the damage. There's only 5 of them. I think they can stack up to 6. Nope, it's just 5. They stack up to 5. So look at this. They've got 37.3 hack damage per second, 6.6 speed. Absolutely insane. Champion infantry coming through, more Fenris Wolves, and we've got advanced fortifications queued up to make these hill forts hit like a ton of bricks. As the Fenris Wolves sneaking through. The idea is very simple here in the late game. It's get units onto that trade route and just keep pummeling it until your opponent folds from having 0 gold in the bank. And look at the speed of which these mechanical ox caravans going down. They do have 115 HP. It's not a small amount. Where are the Nyan heroes? He's just not got them. He's got them queued up. Now they're coming over here, I imagine. There's Yang Jian on the way to put a stop to all of this damage, but look at these mechanical. That was at 60, I believe. Now it's already down to 35 and falling. It's absolutely an insane amount of damage, but I think unless Zook he is paying attention, he retreats back, and the damage continues over here. We'll be losing this one. Absolutely brutal. What's happening on the right side? We see some hill forts coming in. A bit of return fire with the axe carts to push forward. How many did he fall down to? He fell down to 19 mechanical ox carts. 19. How much has he got in the tree? 5,200. And there's another Yinglong in and ready to join for more playtime. As there's not really that many goatee anymore. The goatee queued up. Zook has to be going, come on. You gotta be kidding me. Now I gotta kill this dragon off again. As more Fenris Wolves coming out. These were actually buffed in a previous, I think in the last patch. I still think it's worth it to drop at least 2 temples. But they're training much faster now. So you can get them out with 1 temple much easier. Still attempting to get watchtowers up onto this spot. Another marker to come through for Nyan. A little bit more efficient. Let's throw an axeman going down. Berserk's going down. Goatee's coming through to start getting just a little bit more damage onto the Nyan Racing Cat. Yinglong here. As he charges in onto the wood line. This is painful, but it's a good defense here. As long as he turns and fights, but he's not going for it. Just a little bit of villager kills, but look at the villager difference. We aren't seeing Zoot building any villagers right now. He's only got trade coming through. It's probably not a bad idea because he doesn't really need that many villagers. Just needs trade and probably somewhere between 50 and 70 villagers on food and wood, like total, based on what he's building. He's onto the right-hand corner. We will be seeing some portable rams coming through to try and break through these bowlays and everything. Still no advanced fortifications for Nyan Racing Cat. Thank you for the raid, Gerbot. Appreciate you, my friend. As this Yinglong the second. Definitely should have Yinglong the second here. He's back onto the wood line. Because, like, where else do you grab wood from? There's no other wood on the map. It's only in the center of the map, right? Like, you have to come into this center, which means this Yinglong can just continue to cause pain here. Now, one answer would be to throw up a couple of watchtowers or something, and the villagers can just garrison away. Or you could garrison... And you've also got bonus damage with those watchtowers as well against myth units, so not a bad idea. But buildings on this top side have managed to get taken out for the time being. The dragon is a myth unit. This is a myth unit. But he does bonus damage versus myth units, obviously. Thank you for the 10 months, Gerbot. Thank you for the support, my friend. Continued support. Mwah. But nonetheless, the army of Nyan Racing Cat is still looking insanely powerful at the moment, as Zoot needs to pull back. He's a little bit underpopped. He doesn't have that much food. He's got a huge amount of wood. But these Goaty aren't going to be helping. They are really only built to try and deal with the Yinglong, who's now down to 386 HP. He needs those Thrown Axemen to kill off the Champion Dao. He needs Herdman, Berserk to kill off the Champion Tiger Cav. Town Center going to be taking a big amount of damage as well, as the Yinglong is back over onto the wood villages. Nyan playing incredibly well with this dragon for the time being, making Zook's life very, very difficult. However, not paying attention after this one, and he will lose Yinglong the second. But we are already up to 180 population favor there, over halfway to a third Yinglong. On the other side, there is access to Frost. Now, Frost in the late game is a very, very, very good god power. Because you want to try and just hit the entirety of your opponent's army, and then you just go and kill off all their buildings with a whole bunch of siege. Because they're going to have to sit there while the units are frosted, or they're going to have to delete their units to fight back. As the fortified town center going down. And with losing this town center, I mean, you get into a bit of a tricky spot here. It's still playable as the Norse, but you have to get the town center back up. But the tricky position is that you're down to 36 villages, basically. Look at the difference in military value, though. Zook has a crazy amount, an absolutely crazy amount of military value here. But what he needs is food income. Now, he does have 26 villagers on food. But he needs food income to make himself the herdman to deal with these champion Tiger Cav. And throughout the entirety of this game, it's seeming like Nyan's been doing this really, really smart sort of flip through building the really powerful Tiger Cav, baiting out the herdman into building a whole bunch of Dao swordsmen. You can see that's kind of the quote-unquote formula, so to speak, to continue being able to make pushes happen. Because one army counters one thing, the next army counters the next, and so on and so forth. Some towers up onto this spot. Yeah, seeing the siege crossbows trying to break through over here as well. As the axe cart coming back in, slowly going to be taking down the fortified town center here. Fire giants are not fire giants. Frost giants are actually really smart here as well from Zooks, because these are incredibly high cost human units. It's kind of almost as much as well, probably as much as a weak myth unit, a low impact myth unit like a new Boit or Promethean or Automaton, right? So you're freezing that off and you're just taking population out of a fight. Really, really good. However, the problem is there should be a couple of heroes coming. As here he comes. Yang Xian is back in, and that's going to clean up those myth units very, very quickly. Though with Jiang Xia, I guess that's already in, so it doesn't really matter. And in fact, Nyan doesn't even go... yes, he does. I was going to say Nyan doesn't even go after the myth units. He's just going straight after the throw and axeman line here. But good control here from Sling McSlingface to pull back with Frost Giant. I see axe cart over here. Going to be falling down. Town Center will live for just a little bit longer up onto the top side. Still no effort to try and break through here and try and take out the fortified town center. There's more towers coming up for Nyan. He's got his economy is back into overdrive. He's gone right back up to that 60 mechanical ox caravans. He's got 97 villages still. So realistically, these towers are just pushing his population. There's two kind of ways to play this, right? Either you can cut your economy such as you can have more military, like Zookt is doing, or you don't cut your economy, but you send villagers forward to be building towers all over the place. One tech here that Zookt is definitely missing is that burning pitch technology, so that his thrown axeman can get a little bit more bonus damage against buildings and push just a little bit more. Meanwhile, over onto the right-hand corner, axe cart still getting dealt with. Nyan doing a great job of defending, but just the slow pushes on both sides. Another idea, so to speak. Hear me out. Dock. Transport ship. Forest fire. And then zhunk straight in. Clean up that main base. With a bunch of Huskarls, right? No? Just me? I don't think you can walk over this. This is water. Yeah, you can't walk over the actual oasis, but you can put a dock there. Let me just double check. Yeah, you can put a dock here. There's more units coming in. We are seeing a cheeky little attempt at a hill fort over onto this side, but the Dow, look how strong these Dow swordsmen are. Look at him go. I actually know the Berserks are doing well too. They've got that healing in, right? The life steal, so they're actually not a... Are these actually a good counter? Are they, I don't know if I go so far as to say they're a counter, but they're not a bad unit to be building there. I think Nyan's also missing in technology here. Yeah, he is. This makes sure all of your units cheaper by a significant amount. Take a look. Minus 20%. But he does get beaten back over here. As the heavy portable ram still coming through, where 50 favor from another Yinglong. And that's coming in very quickly. What is it? 36 per minute. He is losing buildings, so he's going up and down in favor, I guess, as more portable rams come in to break more stuff down. The hero is back in, going to be able to deal with all of these myth units as they're getting charged down. Good retreat there from our main man. Slingy McSlingface with 0 slingers because he's not playing Egyptian anymore. But nonetheless, we'll see if Zooks can make this one work. Over onto the right side, Dow Swordsman getting baited in underneath these this hill fort and everything else, but that will be a dead portal ram. Still no ability to get through onto this spot and take this position out just yet. Trying so hard to make it work. Meanwhile, Nijar is a pretty brutally good raider because he does have the Universe Ring, just doing 12.5 DPS passively, which is not a small amount of DPS. 12.5 plus also the auto attack of 21.9. Yeah, you're killing off a villager pretty quickly here. As he charges in, I think also he does... What does the trail do? 2 divine? Ah, that's a little bit. It's nice. There's a whole bunch of Fenris wolves yet again trying to get onto this trade route. One getting stunned up here, getting left behind. My brother, get in there. As he's back onto the trade route yet again. Wait, can he get through? Can he get past the sage? Oh, Nyan notices. He will be able to deal with that one much quicker and much easier than before. The Nyan now has another ballet. Still no advanced fortifications. People forgetting about this tech. Nyan forgetting about this tech. He's also got a Peach Blossom string with 6,891 at the moment, guys. It's getting up there. It's getting up there. But can our Odin player actually get through here or not? That's the big question. There is another Yinglong available. Drop that on the trade route and just say 99. But these towers are spread really nicely actually for Zoot. So no matter where the Yinglong goes, Yinglong the third goes, he'll take some arrow file. One other thing here that I don't think I've ever considered is the fact that you don't get wood starved ever if you go through Golmang. By getting this this tech vibrant land, you just never ever get wood starved. So there is a world here where if this game goes on for long enough. Well, I know the Yinglong is in. Yinglong the third. How many Yinglongs do you want? If this game goes on for long enough, all of a sudden, there's just going to be 0 wood left for one player, and the other player is just going to have it all. Unless you move in and start chopping your opponent's wood down, I guess. That's the trade route getting decimated. Where is the defense for this? As 89 villages, it looks like Zookta's going back up to full villages here as well. Getting a couple of those goatees out, trying to deal with this bad boy. As the town center does end up falling. Yinglong on the retreat, lives with 919 HP. There's one other effect here. If you can keep him alive with like 5 HP, just come and sit him over onto the main base and you get even more. Wait. What is he going for now? He's got 7,000 food in the bank. I guess he's just moving forward to put a whole bunch more bow layers down. I don't know. But the town center has fallen. Damage is done. The town center over here, however, has also fallen. So there is a little bit of a base trade going on here. One idea right now for Sling McSlimface is to go for a bit of a Villager Ragnarok. He doesn't have any food, however, which is the problem. And he's lost a huge amount of ox caravans from that Yinglong. However, nonetheless, the heavy ballaster do seem to be getting a hefty amount of damage done onto the Yinglong. He's only got 80% crush armor. So they will be able to deal with that one as the Goaty coming up here. They can get back onto the town center over here. However, Nyan going to grab the town center on this left side. And then all of a sudden, the corner is somewhat gone for Zooked. He needs a corner here. He can't really trade here to here. If he goes here, it's not ideal, but maybe that's got to be the way to go. As into the main base, the Ballaster coming through as Zooked is attempting to make his last stand, so to speak. He's trying to make something happen here. As the village is going down, Hillfort getting denied for the time being as well. Villagers on the farms to go down. The town center for both players now is up. And some quick buildings getting shot up here could be good. Getting a market up onto this spot. Desperation market to some degree, but it's better not having anything. As in onto this town center, the Ballaster go. The villagers no longer have that bonus damage, but you can see how much it doesn't even matter, right? Like, these guys just walk forward and these Ballaster are dead in no time flat. If they had the bonus, all of the Ballaster would have been dead there. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think I much prefer when people have to defend with stuff that they make than just the villages that they have there. Anyways, Terracotta Riders coming through to put a bit of a denial over here. Meanwhile, into the main base, however, Nyan is not slowing down. He is filling this entire position up with buildings, it looks like. It's still equal pop. The food situation is dire. 34 ox caravans isn't terrible, but still, he doesn't have any gold in the bank versus Nyan's near infinite. And Nyan, he could go for a wonder if he wants to, right? How much does a wonder cost? Maybe he doesn't want to. I just can't remember. How much does it cost? There you go. He's going to literally go for a wonder right now. The tree? Got 7,620 resources in it. Absolutely insane. As all of the machine workshops up for a huge amount of axe carts to get brought through. And now we finally seeing in the 1 hour and 3 minute mark, siege engineers to come through. Only takes 10 seconds. It's an insane boost to your siege at taking down buildings. Must grab tech. Nearly instantly. Draft horses is also pretty good, but I can forgive not getting that one. Actually, no, I can't. He's got infinite resources. He's got so many. What else is he missing? He's missing these techs for his heroes. He's missing the crenellations and boiling oil. Missing fire. Missing this one. Get fire archers. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter as he is managing to break through here. It's the town center for Zooked falling. He does seem to be falling behind here, and in that moment he says, all right, I'm struggling. You've got my main town center. My economy is hurt. I'm getting pushed into a corner here. I think we better save the rest of these lives in this game and call it a day. And the winning number for the 10th of August 2025 lottery is 7790. Anyone with that number, please come forward and receive your prize of I don't know what, but there you go. What a nice game here. Both players battling incredibly hard. Definitely could have gone either way for the entirety of this game. Taking a look at the units killed, it's actually equal. I mean, I don't know exactly where this line is drawn, but that's surprising to me because it did feel like Nyan was trading a little bit better. Taking a look at the actual resources, however, it's so close. That is, I mean, there's a differential of about 7,000 in this. I guess it's just that the units, they're not even that cheap though, are they? Wow. This is a wild game. Definitely, I mean, there's so many resources in the bank as well at the moment for our Odin player. But nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next game.